future truly is at stake, and our guest in the studio is Akindele Soulchild. As a matter of fact, while that report was going on, and the reporter said there is a risk that it will become a monster, drug abuse. He said it's already a monster.
It's already a monster.
We already have a monster on our hands.
Not looking forward to becoming. It
really is already.
It's troubling, really troubling.
Soulchild, it's good to have you in the studio.
It's good to be here again.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we even begin by asking what exactly is going on? Why are young people, young Nigerians, teenagers, pupils in primary school? Not too long ago, there was a report about some people giving tramadol to pupils. How did we get here?
Well, it's a big problem. It's a really, really damage to our society. And like the reporter said, it's a case of kids and youths not having so much in their hands to do, and the little things that they have to do is not enough to occupy them, and they have to have all those energy into negative stuff, and it brings up this drug abuse and all that. Meanwhile, also, let's say a pop culture attitude where you watch international artists abuse drugs, and they're on the news for several drug issues and all that. And also maybe some says easy to get off the hardship of life. Like the codeine is not for highness, for slow you down. So maybe if everything around you is going bing, 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 you use codeine to slow things down. Wow. So you don't worry. Like a short time depression, it depresses you for that period of time that you don't want to think about your problems, and these things are very addictive, so it becomes an issue.
But the concern there is the percentage of those who are using it, who are abusing it, are children who are not originally, who then don't know so many things about life.
Exactly.
They're not married. They're still within schools, because we hear at the primary 5 and 6, and then secondary schools, they're still in school. What do they have to worry about?
Other than to pass their exams.
Exactly.
Peer pressure, trying to get along with the social dictates, what's happening around. Maybe one bad one among them tells them that if you take this thing now, it will calm you down. Or I've had situations where somebody says it's to help them to reduce their pressure going to the exam hall. If they're going to the exam hall and they are really, really anxious, or maybe they have this scare. So when you take those drugs, to calm you down. So you sit down, you are not worried, you do your stuff. And all these things still affect the brain, or anyway, at the end of the day. And also, I think I've come across people saying tramadol will help you to last long in sex. So they take overdose of tramadol, so it helps you to last long in sex. So all these narratives, all these messages sold to them, and this is why they find themselves using these drugs.
Who is putting this kind of narrative out there? I mean, these are ordinarily prescription drugs. Codeine, for example, is an over-the-counter drug, an OTC.
Yes.
How did we now discover, how did these young people discover that there is a substance in an ordinary cough syrup that is meant to handle cough, that you can actually get some kind of kick from taking it?
That's why I said civilization, pop culture. Suddenly we have social media, so suddenly we have access to internet. When I was young, the only trouble we knew about then is weed. Yeah, that's
Indian hemp.
So and then
marijuana.
Even marijuana is smoked by the bad boys in society. Then the Agbiru, the cultists. So if you're decent, if you're from a very reasonable family, you don't find yourself hanging out with such kids. But pop culture changed the story. Like you now see people that portray themselves as successful people, people with decent profile, do this thing too. So somebody's telling you that, are you better than Jay-Z, or are you better than Lil Wayne? Are you better than these guys in abroad that takes it? Are you better than the CEOs that consume this and that? Are you better than Whitney Houston that take crack and cocaine and all that?
Well, nobody is telling them how these people end up.
They don't tell them. That's the thing. That's the thing. Nobody tells you how you end up, because some of them are not educated to that level to understand that this is detriment. This have a
adverse
effects and all that. And some of them know already, but they're already addicted to these things already, because these things it may start taking it, addiction start coming in, and you start wanting it, and the more you
more and more.
you request
All
it,
right.
the more you get.
What impact are music videos having on this? We have some current music videos now with all sorts of pictures, all sorts of visuals, and even titles and so on. What impact is this having?
Entertainment made it even worse anyway, because I think the players, the key players in the entertainment industry, they preach these things consciously or unconsciously in their music. And there's this young boy, there's this young girl on the street that's already taking it. Now you're endorsing it on your music. Now gives them this freedom to go wild on it because Bado's a science student and all that. So I feel, yeah,
so the thin line between I am trying to preach against it by showing it indirectly, you're also trying to, you know, give it some projection and some push. So that thin line there between I'm preaching against this thing, but I'm still showing it.
I believe,
at least that's the claim.
I believe preaching against it is not singing praising songs about it. Like a particular artist said, slow down on a codeine diet. Normally, that's what they use codeine to do, to slow down. So somebody's already singing that slow down on the codeine diet. So that definitely
with rhythm that people can dance to.
The guy that has been consuming it now sees, oh yeah, I'm slowing down on my codeine diet.
That means we're slowing down the future of Nigeria, because it's young people that are involved in this drug abuse, codeine, tramadol, and the rest of them, all kinds of names that, you know, it's even scary to begin to mention them. 65% of the Nigerian population is made up of the youth. And you have a huge chunk of these same young people, you know, being under the influence.
Females, females too.
And females too. And in that report, we had housewives.
Yeah, exactly.
Housewives. And I was saying something to somebody recently. I said, if myself as a guy do this thing and I have a girlfriend that is against it, it will be easier for me to run away from me because I like my girlfriend. She doesn't like me smoking or like me taking tramadol or taking Refenol. But when me and my girlfriend do it together,
exactly.
So at the end of the day,
you'll find your friendship
on a balance,
on a different
level.
Yeah,
because both of you have something in common that others may not have.
And there was a report recently that even in Lagos now, we have more ladies consuming drugs than guys.
Wow.
So we probably have
That's
a
real
big
trouble.
problem in our society.
I recall a story of a young lady who was trying to narrate a story of how she could have gotten involved in drugs and becoming addicted. She had dated this young man for a number of years. He was on coke, and every now and again he would try to convince her that if she really loved him, you know, that she should just take part, you know, sniff this thing with me if you really love me, and she refused. Only for her to come back one day from school, and it turned out that the young man had become born again, and you know, gradually he stopped taking drugs. And you know, over the years, she was like, she looked back and thought to herself, what if I had, you know, in my youthful exuberance or, you know, stupidity, given in to his pressure to take drugs?
He's out now.
He's out now. And there's a strong possibility that that's how many young girls, young women have found themselves.
In private schools, in public schools, everywhere. Some people didn't go into school with that attitude, with that lifestyle. They probably got into school and they met one guy or a few friends that they want to be part of a gang or part of their movement or part of their circle. And they realized that the only way you can be part of the circle is to smoke, the only way is to take this thing. So a lot of people have been influenced. They did not grow up from their house, seeing their father doing it, or either brother in the house doing it, or any family member, but they got it from outside. And in the north, some of these families too, they cut those habits from their families, because in the north, I can tell you, it's not about youth in the north. Even the typical Abuki elders do this drug, and they report that
they actually see their parents.
They too small. These guys see their parents do abuse all these things.
When it comes to regulation, there are calls in some quarters that some of these codeine and all of that should be banned, in some cough syrup and so on. You
ban it, then it becomes another bootleg issue.
I wonder how desirable.
Banning should not be the word. Should not be the word we should use to control these things, because
maybe regulate.
Regulation should be better used, but who's going to regulate
Yeah.
Is it the government that don't pay attention to what's happening on the street? If it's not the one, if it's not that thing that will put them into power, they don't care.
Or will the
Because
pharmacist who is in business to sell,
yes, and the pharmacist
will he
doing the business
refuse to sell to a young...
that can sell a codeine bottle for 8,600 naira, whereas normally normal cough syrup should be about 600 naira or 500 naira. But because a young guy wants to use codeine to slow down, they sell it for 8,500, 600.
But do they go in the name of I want to...
Normally,
I want to
buy
buy
with
the
prescriptions.
if I want to go to buy cough syrup, they'll tell you where with the doctor's prescription. But these guys know where they know the
where to get it
shop
from.
they go to buy it from. So I think the government has a lot of work to do.
A whole lot of work to do.
It's not even about. The family has a lot of work to do too, because sometimes you don't pay attention to your children, and they are going through some issues, and the only way they can actually get help is to go out there and get advice from their peers who will tell them that, oh, when that thing where you worry about, if you just smoke one now, your head will calm, or if you just take codeine now, or take Reflon, you go, all these things have effects on their lives.
All right, Akinyele Soul Child, thank you very much for being a part of our discussion on this morning. Thank you.